Welcome to another episode of It's a Cooking Thing. Now today I'm going to make a complete meal. It's going to be baked mahi fish. I'm going to have super easy green beans amandine and old-fashioned macaroni with tomatoes. So first we're going to get our fish in the oven. So this I'm going to put on, it's a rack. And each piece will serve, of course, one person. This is going to serve 5 people. Now that's just got a little ice on it. Of course, that's how fish, comes when it's frozen, so that'll just come right off. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of Old Bay on it. That's always good for fish. I know you can use it for other things, but this is a go-to seasoning. So don't be afraid to really put that on your fish. This is where it wants to come out. And it does. Okay, now then what I want to do is put some dill. Now you can buy the fresh dill in your produce section. I've used it too, but I didn't have any, so what I'm going to use is these little like little dill seasoning. And so there again, you just want to kind of just lightly put some dill on it. Okay. Now, last but not least, we're going to put some thin lemon slices on the top. Now you can put like maybe 2 to 3, and you want a pretty good sharp knife to just cut your lemon slices as thin as you can. And it depends on the size of your lemon, how many slices you're going to get with it. I can already tell this isn't going to be enough for what I have on that one, so I'm going to get another one. Let's see, this is going to be enough. I don't know if it will. I like to, if I can, put 3 on there. Going to have quite enough, so I'm going to cut some of this in here. All right. Now, like I said, we're going to put this in a 350-degree oven for 20 to 30 minutes, depends on how your oven holds its heat. But when it's finished, I'll show you how to check to make sure it's done. So, in the oven it's going to go. Now you don't need to turn your fish or anything like that. I like to use one of these the pans that I just had because it lets the heat kind of get under it and cook it. And you set your fish on the rack. Okay, I've already got my pan about half full of water. And to that, of course, we have to get it to boil. Now to that, I'm going to add, you can add any shaped pasta you want for this dish. This is a pound of pasta, but I'm just going to use half, 8 ounces. So with that, there's going to be a can of diced tomatoes, and I'm going to use about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably about 5, maybe 6 pats of butter, depends on how much it's absorbing. And then to that, it's just going to be some salt and pepper. It's just old-fashioned. I think it was like a recipe back in the 60s. I do remember having that. Let's see. Let me get my towel. That lemon smells good. All right. Now, as soon as this comes to a boil, you know, we'll put our pasta in there. Now, what we're going to do, and this is a real good, tasty recipe. I'm going to have this pan over here, and I'm going to heat this up. Now, this is for my green bean amandine. It would be better, you know, just to chop these up. I hope the angle looks okay so you can see what I'm doing. Now, just depends on, you know, just kind of like a rough chop, but like I said, it just depends on how you like your mushrooms and things. Okay. Now, to our pan, I'm going to just use some olive oil. Now, you can use what you want to use, but I do like to use olive oil. Just about, I'm going to say 2 tablespoons. And I also want to use, so I got another pan of butter. I want to put a little butter flavor in there because we're going to put mushrooms and some diced garlic. So to that, I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of butter in here. Plus, when you add some oil to your pan, your butter won't have a tendency to burn like it would if it was there by itself. In case your, heat gets just a little high, but, you don't really need excessively high heat for this dish. Now we're going to turn this down a little bit. And we're going to add our mushrooms. Now, I like to add, I don't know, maybe an 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. And just, you can have it as little or as a lot big, whatever you want in there. Now what I like to do to add just a little more flavor to it, plus a little salt, because you're going to need some with the mushrooms. I just want to take about, let's see, I get it. About half a teaspoon of the beef powder. And that has your salt in it. It smells good. Now my water's starting to boil back here. So we're going to put about 8 ounces in here. Alright, that's half a box. Now if you want to measure it precisely, you can, but it's going to be half a box no matter what. I'm just used to eyeballing it and knowing just what goes in what. So now that's going to boil. We'll set this over here. Turn the heat down, because if it's too high, it's going to boil over. To that, I have got some minced garlic. Just some minced garlic here. And I'm going to use about, I'd say probably a teaspoon of this in here. Let that kind of cook a little. Now, to that, I'm going to add 4 cans of drained green beans. Now, you can use frozen, you can use fresh, if you've had a garden or something like that. I've gone every way with it with the green beans. And there again, I'm just keeping this as simple as I can meal. Now, as far as your almonds go, I would say probably, 1/4 of a cup of almonds. If you want more, you can add more. If you don't like almonds, you can leave them out, but then you wouldn't have green bean amandine. And you just want to kind of heat that up. For this. That gets away from me. Alright, now we're going to add our green beans in here. Watch out for these. Sometimes they have sticks on them. what you're doing is just stirring this to coat. And there's another undesirable green bean. Looks like it's been, is this another stick? Usually you don't find that too often. But do watch, you know, in case they're there. Doesn't that look pretty? It looks excellent on a dish. And the flavors are good. It's just a simple, different way with a little bit different flavor to cook your green beans. And like I said, you just want to kind of heat your green beans because you've already cooked your mushrooms and everything. So you can just kind of turn your heat down a little bit, let that maybe simmer a couple minutes, and it's done. I mean, it's a real simple green bean dish with a little bit different twist and a ton of flavor. Okay, now while our fish is still baking, the noodles have cooked. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them over here and drain them, and then I'll show you what I'm going to put in it. So just now, to our noodles, our 8 ounces of noodles, we're going to put a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. Now, if you want to use fresh, you can, but this is just going to be a simple way. Now, this one does not happen to have any salt in it, which is fine because you can add the salt as you go. Now, what I'm going to put in here with it, I'm going to put 5 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to turn this burner up a little bit. Let that kind of melt. It's awful pretty to see. And to that, I'm going to add pepper, and I'm going to put about 1/8 of a teaspoon in there. Now, that's my preference. If you want more, you can have more. You know, if you don't want pepper at all, but it does make it good. And then to that, I'm going to add about, I'm going to say maybe 1/2 to a teaspoon of salt in this because there's no salt in the noodles, and now some people salt their noodles as they cook them. I just kind of like to wait, and that way I can adjust it. So you're going to have salt to add to your noodles as well as your unsalted can of tomatoes. Now I've got this kind of heating up on the burner. And basically that's it. It's just a simple old-fashioned recipe. It's a nice little side dish for a lot of things, or even if you just wanted it for a lunch. And really, that's all you do. It's heavy and hot. But that's the finished product. So we're going to set this off to the side, and we got a little. Okay, now our fish should be finished. There we go. Just a very simple baked fish dinner. Now you can tell your fish is done when you stick your fork in there and it's flaky. See how flaky that is? Very flaky fish. So your fish is done. So I had this in here for approximately 50 to 55 minutes at 375. Now these were pretty frozen, partially frozen. If you have completely thawed fish, then it would take less time but the same amount of temperature. But there again, you could just put a fork in the fish, and if it's flaky like a tuna, then it's done. Well, thank you again for watching my show. And please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Bye.